What is their protest? What are they saying specifically?
Well, so one of them, one of them wasn't in protest, but I think you can make an educated guess that it kind of was, but that's a media thing. The other was Jan Leica, so he was their head of AI super alignment, basically the team that was responsible for making sure that we could control AGI systems and we wouldn't lose control of them. And what he said, he actually took to Twitter. He said, that I've lost basically confidence in the leadership team at OpenAI that they're going to behave responsibly when it comes to AGI. We have repeatedly had our requests for access to compute resources, which are really critical for developing new AI safety schemes, denied by leadership. This is in a context where Sam Altman and OpenAI leadership were touting the super alignment team as being their sort of crown jewel effort to ensure that things would go fine. They were the ones saying there's a risk we might lose control of these systems. We've got to be sober about it, but there's a risk. We've stood up this team. We've committed, they said at the time very publicly, we've committed 20% of all the compute budget that we have secured as of sometime last year to the super alignment team. Apparently, those resources, nowhere near that amount has been unlocked for the team, and that led to the departure of Jan Leica. He also highlighted some conflict he's had with the leadership team. This is all, frankly, to us, unsurprising based on what we'd been hearing for months at OpenAI, including leading up to Sam Altman's departure and then kind of him being brought back on the board of OpenAI. That whole debacle may well have been connected to all of this. But the challenge is even OpenAI employees don't know what the hell happened there. That's another issue.
Yeah.
You got here, this is a lab with the publicly stated goal of transforming human history as we know it. Like that is what they believe themselves to be on track. And that's not like media hype or whatever. When you talk to the researchers themselves, they genuinely believe this is what they're on track to do. It's possible we should take them seriously. That lab internally is not being transparent with their employees about what happened at the board level as far as we can tell. So that's maybe not great. Like you might think that the American people ought to know what the machinations are at the board level that led to Sam Altman leaving, that have gone into the departure, again, for the second time, of OpenAI's entire safety leadership team.
Especially because, 3 months, maybe 4 months before that happened, Sam at a conference or somewhere, I forget where, but he said, like, look, we have this governance structure. We've carefully thought about it. And it's clearly a unique governance structure that a lot of thought has gone into. The board can fire me, and I think that's important. And that it makes sense given the scope and scale of what's being attempted. But then that happened, and then within a few weeks, they were fired, and kind of he was back. And so now there's a question of, well,
what happened?
What happened? But also, if it was important for the board to be able to fire like leadership for whatever reason, what happens now that it's clear that that's not really a credible governance like a mechanism?
Structure,
What was the stated reason why he was released?
So there were the backstory here was there's a board member called Helen Toner. So she apparently got into an argument with Sam about a paper that she'd written. So that paper included some comparisons of the governance strategies used at OpenAI and some other labs. And it favorably compared one of OpenAI's competitors, Anthropic, to OpenAI. And from what I've seen at least, Sam reached out to her and said, hey, you can't be writing this as a board member of OpenAI, writing this thing that kind of casts us in a bad light, especially relative to our competitors. This led to some conflict and tension. It seems as if it's possible that Sam might have turned to other board members and tried to convince them to expel Helen Toner, though that's all kind of muddied and unclear. Somehow, everybody ended up deciding, okay, actually, it looks like Sam is the one who's got to go. Ilya Sutskever, one of the co-founders of OpenAI, a longtime friend of Sam Altman's and a board member at the time, was commissioned to give Sam the news that he was being let go. And then Sam was let go. Ilya then, so from the moment that happens, Sam then starts to figure out, okay, how can I get back in? And that's now what we know to be the case. He turned to Microsoft, Satya Nadella, told him like, well, what we'll do is we'll hire you at our end.